Hey everybody, it's Nick from Android Headlines, and this is our review of the Xperia XZ Premium. This time last year, it felt like Sony Mobile was getting a little stale. A lot of their products felt like rehashes of ones they've done over and over again, but when we got a chance to experience the Xperia XZ Premium earlier this year, it felt like something had changed. Sony was excited about their products again, and it felt like they truly had something unique to offer once again. It's this feeling that gives Sony Mobile a new lease on life in a sense, and the Xperia XZ Premium is the best flagship product from the company in years. So what makes the Xperia XZ Premium stand out from the crowd? The 4K HDR display, super slow motion and predictive camera software, and Sony's audio prowess. Let's get the dull out of the way first, the design. While Sony's design isn't bad per se, it doesn't feel fresh in most ways. Large bezels all around the screen feel very 2015, and the same overall design language from the Xperia X line largely remains. In fact, this feels more similar to the Xperia Z5 Premium in many ways, including the mirror finish and the 4K screen, although it's got the curves and the large bezels of the X series from last year. Obviously, compared to the Galaxy S8, LG G6, and a couple of others with relatively no bezels, this design feels pretty old. It is shiny as heck though, with a mirror finish that features an oleophobic coating that helps keep fingerprints and other junk off. This finish actually works really well for keeping grime off, and I almost never had to wipe stuff off of the phone, which was impressive given how smudgy and gross most phones with glass backs get. One of the weakest points in the hardware, however, isn't even the design itself though, it's the complete lack of a fingerprint scanner on the US model. Yes, once again, Sony took the fingerprint scanner out of the US model, a move that's beyond confusing in 2017 when fingerprint scanners are as standard as a screen and a camera on a phone are. International models all ship with it, so what's the deal, Sony? This is pretty inexcusable for a $700 flagship, to say the least. Sony has at least outfitted the Xperia XZ Premium with the latest mobile computing technology though, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 chipset, along with super fast UFS storage. Not many phones have the Snapdragon 835 yet, and as a result, you'll notice some immediate speed differences here between last year's phone and this year's devices. Sony's reduced animation times also help make the phone feel faster, and that UFS storage keeps things consistently fast while loading applications and reading or writing data. In addition to this, the brand new camera sensor has been developed specifically for the Xperia XZ Premium, the IMX400 generation, and marks a whole new series of sensors that we'll likely see debuting on other phones in the near future. For now though, the XZ Premium holds the exclusive access, and it's a big deal too. Sony has figured out a way to fit embedded memory right on the sensor, meaning it now has a buffer built in for pictures and video. The results are stunning. Sony's camera software can now predict when you're going to take a shot, beginning the photo predictions a full 2 seconds ahead of when you press the shutter button. More than once this saved my bacon and gave me the perfect shot, along with a few other cool shots I didn't even intend to get. Sony's camera software is still clunky as heck, with modes that take way too long to get to and some bizarre designs like having a separate app for recording 4K video, but the base functionality is at least solid. Daytime shots are stunning, most of the time anyway, and when this thing takes a good shot, it's likely better than anything you've ever seen from a smartphone. The problem here is in consistency, and thus far I've seen little consistency from scenario to scenario, and sometimes Sony's overly aggressive algorithms take the detail out of a shot that would have otherwise looked great on a big screen. This holds particularly true for low light shots, where the sensor is able to grab light from seemingly unknown locations and illuminate the scene perfectly. However, the denoise algorithms here ruin the detail that would otherwise be present. Ease up on the processing, Sony. Your sensors are great, but this simply doesn't look good on anything other than a phone's tiny screen. Thankfully, video mode, outside of that aforementioned bizarre separation of 4K recording into a separate app, is fantastic. Sony's excellent image stabilization is present, including full optical image stabilization for up to 4K video. Sony even provides an enhanced stabilization method for 1080p and lower quality video, giving the same unbelievably smooth and stable video we saw out of last year's Xperia X series in even the bumpiest conditions. The real highlight here though is the super slow motion video, which translates into 960 frames per second video, 4 times slower than anything else on the market, which is about the only time you'll hear slower is better. Comparatively, you'll find that 240 frames per second is the best you can get on any other phone, and it's Sony's awesome new sensor technology that enables this possibility. There is a slight caveat caveat here though, in that there's only 128 megabytes of embedded memory on the sensor, which roughly translates into 5-second bursts of slow motion footage at a time. Thankfully, you can press the slow motion button as many times as you want during recording, but it would still have been nice to be able to adjust slow motion post-recording for longer amounts of time, as you can with the regular slow motion mode. Still, this is a feature that's not available anywhere else, and for the results we're seeing, there's little complaint that can be made for a first-generation feature. Moving on to the audio front, Sony has once again given their phones front-facing stereo speakers. In a time where this is an oddly disappearing feature, it's great to see an OEM still sticking by its guns and including this important feature. Stereo front-facing speakers provide the best sound you'll get out of any configuration, bar none, and Sony's configuration here also includes some phenomenal virtual surround sound that fills the room with loud, high-quality audio and will surely replace some Bluetooth speakers out there. You'll also get 24-bit high-res audio output via the 3.5mm audio jack built into the phone, and if wireless is more your choice, you'll find the extended range Bluetooth 5.0 is on board, as well as support for higher quality aptX codec and Sony's own LDAP wireless as well. Audiophiles pretty much need look no further. This phone is a beast. Lastly, of course, is the lauded 4K HDR screen, which for the most part actually only runs stuff in 1080p. It seems silly to make such a big deal about this screen when it almost never actually runs in 4K, but Sony isn't the only one playing this sort of trickery with consumers either. Still, watching 4K content looks phenomenal, and Amazon's 4K HDR content looks amazing to say the least. YouTube also supports full 4K playback on the phone, but in all honesty, it's pretty hard to say this looks really much better than the Quad HD screens we've had on phones for years. As an IPS panel, it's got the usual positives and negatives, including a high persistence rate and alright black levels on the negative side, while remaining bright and crisp even in sunlight and displaying accurate colors as a whole. There's no always-on functionality or any sorts of bonuses, and since it's not OLED, it doesn't officially support Google's Daydream platform either, which really is a crying shame since this enhanced resolution really would work wonders in VR. So the bottom line is this: is it worth buying the Xperia XZ Premium over all the other awesome flagships we've seen so far this year? Sony offers more audio functionality than most phones, including a 3.5mm audio jack and tons of wireless solutions, but it isn't necessarily a standout feature for most folks. The screen is great, but again, unless you're doing a lot of movie watching, it probably won't make much of a difference over other phones. Sony's camera is the real shining piece here, and although it was a little clunky at times, the overall experience really is a great one. The new predictive modes are simply amazing, and super slow motion, even in 5-second bursts, is beyond stunning. The phone is also as fast as anything else you'll buy right now, and Sony's skin is as minimalistic yet feature-rich as ever. Let us know what you think. We hope you'll subscribe to us for regularly updated content. Chat with us on your favorite social media site, and don't forget to check out AndroidHeadlines.com for 24/7 tech news coverage. Thanks for watching, and until next time.